Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are to factorize this expression using grouping method. If we are to refer to grouping method, we should have four terms. In this case, you have four terms. Refer to the word grouping, we are to group them into pairs. So the first two terms forms a pair, and the last two terms form the other pair. And I believe you should have somewhat like this. And then you are to look into each pair, for example, the first one, and then you are to factorize the highest common factor in each pair. So the first pair, I believe you can factor ax, and whatever inside becomes x plus 3. The plus sign, leave the plus sign here. The next pair, I believe you can factorize the highest common factor as 2, and whatever remains, x plus 3. So if you are to look at this x plus 3, I believe you just see that both terms have x plus 3. So we are now to use the distributive property and reverse the process. Let's recall the distributive property. A b plus a c is equal to a outside the parentheses, and inside the parentheses, you are to perform b plus c. And let's do it. So in this case, I believe you have x plus 3 in common. So we are to factorize the x plus 3 in both terms. And in another parenthesis, you are to perform x plus remain plus and 2. And you have successfully factorized this expression. Moving on, we are to look at this example using grouping method. The first step, you are to group two terms into a pair, and I believe you should have this. And then you are to factorize the highest common factor in each pair. I believe your first pair, you should factorize 3x, and whatever remains becomes x minus 2, plus remain as plus. And let's look at the second pair. I believe you can factorize a 4. And whatever inside should be x minus 2. If we are to look at this expression, I believe you have x minus 2 in common. So we should apply the distributive property by factorizing the x minus 2. After you factorize the x minus 2, you are to create another parenthesis. Then you put 3x plus remain plus and 4 inside the parenthesis, and that should be your answer. The last example we have, and we are to apply grouping method. So let's group the first pair. And now, if you are to look at your second pair, we previously have the plus sign before the third term, but now we have a minus sign. And the key point is this: you are to include the minus sign attached to your third term inside the parenthesis, and you are to put a plus sign in between the two parentheses you have. And now we are to factorize the highest common factor in each parenthesis. The first parenthesis, you should have 2x squared as your highest common factor. That should have you the x minus 2. And now remember the plus sign. And now let's look at your second pair. If you are to look at the third term, you have the minus sign attached to x, and this is not what we want. We want to eliminate the minus. We want to take it out of the parentheses. So we are to factorize minus 3 instead of 3, and you should get minus 3 factored outside the parentheses, and inside the parentheses, you should have x minus 2. And this is what we want because you have the both term having the common factor, that is x minus 2. Thus, you are able to use the distributive property and factor out the x plus 2 in each term. inside another parenthesis, you are to perform 2x squared plus minus 3. And remember that plus minus could change to minus, and you get your final answer. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.